everyone, welcome. This is the Voice of Eve. Our topic today is, what is important to women of Nigeria at 53? Please stay tuned with us. We will soon be back. The women of Nigeria are the greatest stakeholders in the Project Nigeria as mothers of the nation. Just what is most important to these women in Nigeria at 53? Is it self-empowerment? Is it political empowerment? Is it economic empowerment, or just what is it? Please join us today as we hear from a group of Nigerian women in the Voice of Eve Forum in a luncheon. I am Dr. Violet Arene. Every wise woman builds her house. The second part of that statement says, but it is a foolish woman that tears down the house with her own hands. Nigeria is a big house, and we know those who are builders of the house. It is you ladies. It's about time we came together to check what I call to do what I call a reality check as mothers of the nation. Surely we have a stake in this nation. We are the key stakeholders, mothers of the nation. That is what we are. And custodians of the future. Through our divine nature, we need to do what is normal, make sure that somebody is actually at the high table as our chief spokeswoman. And it is my pleasure, so delighted to have the pleasure, Madam Chief Mrs. D.C. Olatemi Olamide. Thank you very much. To be and if we were in the studio, being Voice of Eve, we'll call her our special guest. As I see her book here, which I said we are going to serialize, it's so beautiful that we can't let it go. Path to Women's Development. I say, truly, you are the chief spokeswoman today. Everybody will.
Thank you, ladies. It's my pleasure to be with you all this afternoon. And over the years, when I've been into the women's struggle, particularly when we were celebrating the 50 years anniversary, it just occurred to me that the role of the women was being downplayed. In fact, it agitated my mind so much that a group of us got together. You wouldn't believe this, women. And that was the first time I met some of the formidable women in Nigeria. I didn't even know some of them. I just called a friend called another friend, and we got together. And I said, this country is so endowed with such wonderful women, strong women who have contributed a lot. But their role is not being acknowledged. What they're doing is not, it's not really publicized the way the men publicize the things that they do. So we decided to have a website, Nigerian Women at 50. But I'm sorry to say that website didn't go beyond that. We wanted to write a history and all that, but it didn't go beyond that, which is a pity. But it's still there, because sometimes we go to the website and just call me. I think we should be feeding it in. We have a very big gap between what contributions women have made and the ones that men have made. Women have made a lot of contributions to this country. But I think the two most important things to me, not only the two, and they are both interrelated, is that the political empowerment of women and economic empowerment of women, which are intertwined, have gone on, without much accolades, without the proper recognition of what roles women have played in these two aspects. In the first instance, when you look at women in politics, Nigerian women have always been strong, movers. I recall in the 50s, even before the independence, you would not believe that Nigerian women formed political parties. There were political parties that were formed by women. But today, what do we have? We have less than 7% of women representation in the National Assembly. And it's not as though that women have stopped being, politically aware or involved. You will see that most of the political parties now, their membership constitutes mostly of women. That is the truth. And when it comes to voting, the women are more than the men in many places. There are other reasons for that. They say, okay, the women are easily given 5 million naira to come and vote. Apart from the women, the other group that you find is the youths, who sometimes are the political thugs. Otherwise, it's the women that will take the rapper, they will take Ashobi, they will dance, they will cook, the women who are there, they cannon fodder for the men to get into those positions. And the other aspect is the economic parameter. How has it been? Our Nigerian women especially, they are famous all over. Let's start from West Africa. We are the traders. And because we are poor, that is why we are also not in political positions. Because when it comes to politicking, it's essentially money. You have to spend money. If you don't have money, you can't be in politics. Don't let us lie to each other. We're not even talking about having to pay people, bribe people and all that, for them to vote for you. That's the high side. Even from the level, you have to call meetings like this.
Yes.
You have to at least print posters.
Yes.
You have to engage some people to cook for the So there are a lot of ways that you need to spend money. So nobody can say that politics. So you can say because you're a good person, somebody will just look at you and say, okay, you have to do something. That's what you need the money. So we don't have the money. So how do we contest? How do we contest? And even when you have the money, you have the education, you have the wherewithal, there is a ceiling beyond which you cannot move because hierarchy of the political parties, the women are not there. Maybe now some of them will have a woman leader. That is the member of the executive. All the other positions, where are they? Maybe some will just give you social secretary or assistant treasurer. They will put in that treasurer, assistant treasurer. Just tokenism. And at the end of the day, the women who will say they want to contest, they will be shortchanged from the primaries. Even if the people want to vote for them, the party leaders will be the ones to decide, no, we don't want this. So they will not be able to contest. They will not, for primaries, whatever money they spent, that's the end of it. And a lot of them are frustrated, when you spend so much money, and at the end of the day, you don't allow the people to actually voice out that they don't want you. It is the party leader that will say, no, we are not the one going. We have decided that it is. So it's actually selection and no election, even within the party. So we don't have inter-party, transparency is not there. So all those things are like handicapped women. So where are we 53 years? It just dawned on me that maybe we've been looking at the issue of political environment, and I say to you, this constitutional review that is going on, the women should insist. If we don't have that 35% affirmative action, we're not going to vote again. And do you know why? Even some of our women don't even understand what the affirmative action policy is. It's supposed to be a temporary measure, so that maybe in the next 10 years, you just leave a level playing ground. Because the men have been there for a long time. Give them this opportunity. Say, okay, all the political parties, whenever they are going to put their list of candidates, 35% of it must be from a particular gender. No gender must be less than 35%. If it is the men that we want to, okay, if it is the way, not less than 35%. Then the women will contest for those 35%. And that way we'll be able to raise it. In about 32 countries that have adopted the affirmative action policy, about 23 of them actually had to put it in their constitution before the thing could work. And once you put it in the constitution, the people now will have the opportunity to see what women can do. If President Obasanjo did not bring in Okonjo Iweala, we will never know that a woman can even be a minister of finance and turn this nation from a debtor nation to a debt-free nation. Then they decided to respect. They didn't respect us before that time. Now, when you see your letter, they respect you because we paid our debts. And now we're not asking them to come and invest here. But for that similar act, so nobody would have had the opportunity to say, we always thought, finance. When they go to meetings of economic or something, finance, you just go there. If you happen to be there, you will just report 20, after 15 minutes, you will just see one woman there. You know, the women are not there because the society has not had the opportunity to see what women can do. And women do a lot. I think we should start looking at this now. But how can we help ourselves to develop whatever we're doing and do it well?
Ladies, wasn't that wonderful?
Incredible. Incredible.
In fact, it's a stimulant.
Yes. Very, very.
A powerful stimulant. Yes, we've got to help ourselves. Okay, you've had it, and I know since everybody here belongs to the voice of you will have a voice over some of the matter, you know, that has been sensitized. So we can just say, thank you, madam. You have kicked us off. As we enjoy our meal, we'll be hearing from one another.
There's a lot going on. And like you said, women occupy a special place in the development of every nation. We've come a long way, but there's still a lot more to do. And I think being here together, we've all agreed and we are all in one accord that even if we cannot do anything else, it's important that we at least become a pressure group. Let us stand up for something. Let us speak out. And even some of our women who have gone ahead of us, not all of them have done well. Not all of them have represented us well. So we can even begin to say to them, what are you doing? Who are you representing? You have gotten there. We don't want them to think that they are beholden to the men. Oh, I'm here, I must owe a debt of gratitude to the people who have brought me thus far. You are representing all of us. So we can even begin to ask them, this is our expectation. This is what we want you to represent.
I would say that the greatest opportunity for us as women is to continue to do what we have been destined to do. Women are nation builders, women are developers, women are weavers. And we've never really explored that to the maximum, but we are actually getting there. We thank you for role models because we've got tons and tons of them in this country. We also got tons of them in our mothers who also told us how to go, and we have seen them raise families. The greatest opportunity for us as women is to be able to do that, which means our children would also impact tomorrow. And being women, the most interesting thing that I have also come to realize is that we make things happen, not just by virtue of putting resources and money on the table, but instilling leadership, instilling values, bringing about moral development, which of course is what we can just assure us of a better tomorrow. And
the 2015 elections is around the corner. The national conference, like we mentioned, is also, around the corner. Who goes there to represent the women? Who goes there to speak? How are the choices made of people who will go there to even put this conference together? Those are very important things that I think this is very timely for us to begin to look at what role the women will play in these forthcoming events.
In areas of competence, I think women have done quite a lot, and they are doing very great, because most places where you see competence or, the right thing being done, or people being selected for their, professional excellence in particular field, women have done very well. But the area of the political aspect is where I think we need to put a lot more pressure. Because if we have pressure groups that can infiltrate into these parties and tell them what we want, it's going to help the women come up a bit more.
It's really good, it's worth it for women to be acquainted with what is happening. And this is a good forum, it's a forum for us to know. Many of us want to do something for the country, we don't know where to start. You see, the former national anthem, if I can refer to the word, said, to hand down to our children a banner without stain. I think women can do it. We will hand down to our children a banner without stain, and we have to start now.
I think that the pressure group is what we need, because it is the pressure that pushes out the child from the womb. And God has given every woman that strength and pressure in us. I know that it's not by mistake that whatever a woman does, she prospers. It's because the productive power emanates from the inside of the woman. So the womb is connected to every aspect of our body, every part of our body. Whatever the hand of a woman touches, you see that in prospering, because there is an inbuilt productive energy in us.
Now is the time to wrap up. The issue is for us. What is on the ground to do is for us. There must be a beginning, and that beginning is now. What is the way forward? That is the final question. How do we take our next steps forward? And we will still call on our chief spokeswoman to start the wrapping up for us in her snappy, very loaded statement. Thank you, Chief Bisi.
Just a brief summary of some of the wonderful ideas that I gathered from here so that we can move forward with. One is the issue of this forming a pressure group. I think it's really very important, whichever way we want to have it, either a pressure group, a political party or something, but there's something that is really necessary that has to take us away from the existing structures, because otherwise we'll be suffocated if we also join into the existing structure. So we need to really stand out, and you know, the women have to showcase that they have something different to give to this country. And I love the way the woman has been romanticized, you know, as like a womb, you know, a productive structure, you know, the way that our energies are really actually productive, and we need that to use it for this country to develop. Again, I gathered, you know, very wonderful suggestions and ideas that we've not looked at. We cannot forget what is happening as at now, that we have our women who are the cannon foders, but we can make use of those women. And like one of us suggested, that let us help those women, mobilize them to negotiate. Okay, we will clap for you, we will dance for you, build toilets in our market spaces, have creches in our marketplaces. For that, we will vote for you. That's okay. While we are dancing and singing and all that, because we've seen that although there's so many of them, it seems as if they are voiceless when it comes to, you know, actual decisions. So they can also negotiate, and they can also negotiate positions and say, okay, you have taken all the positions. We want a woman to be in this position before we can sing for you. We need to start emphasizing on this issue of corruption. It is the bane of the whole thing. If there's corruption in electioneering, corruption in the elections itself, corruption in the service to the country. So if we all say no, we're against corruption, and we should denounce it at any time, even the smaller ones. You go to an office, you want something, the secretary there wants you to give the person money. It's even in the private sector. It's not only in the public sector. It has eroded the public, and I start to wonder, this is a business that if I don't deal with you, they won't have money to pay you, and you will still expect me to give you money before you can, you know, discharge your duty. So it's just that bad. So we should just denounce that, and we should move forward. And the problem with us is that our voices are never heard. Women whisper, or they don't talk at all. You see a woman do a very big thing. In fact, they consider it is feminine to whisper, instead of, you know, raising their voices. When they do so, when a man does something very little, he will go on the rooftop and start shouting it. Yes. I was the one that, you know, built this stuff. And women will do great things. Nobody will hear about it. Our media too, they're not helping us. You know, when we do things, we are never in the front pages. we are always behind. But when a man does little thing, he's already in the front pages. So on that note, let us raise our voices and let our voices be heard. Voices of Eve. Thank you.
I think what we're looking at this particular segment is how do we go forward? How do we make impact? How do we change things? The greatest thing that is a challenge to women is funding, finance, money. A lot of the time, all of the things we seek to do or think we should do require funding. The reason women wouldn't get in the news or get to mobilize others or get in the front pages, it boils down to money. The issue we're talking about in terms of sponsorship boils down to money. So how do we make it happen? One thing that I say to women, and I've seen it happen a lot of times, is networking does it. Women must learn to hold the hands of one another. Women must hold each other's hand. Women must inspire the others. Women must make the others move from point A to B. I belong to a few organizations where all the focus is on women helping one another and enabling the others. And it's driven by that sort of strategy and programs that help me. And that's the reason I say, if we need to do anything to make this happen, let's look out for women who have the resources, who have the wherewithal, who have the platforms that we require, who've got the influence. So if we're saying we require a location, there must be a woman who's got what we want. We must reach out. A lot of times, people also make the mistake that people would find us. We must go to them. Yeah. Because they also have their own network. They also have their own issues. They also have the stuff they are dealing with.
Righteousness exalts a nation. Sin is a reproach to a nation. We are here because, honestly, every one of us here want the best for our children. It would be a pity if in 50 years' time, our children don't have one Nigeria. In fact, as we are today, the coexistence of Nigeria is so badly threatened that it's the voice of mothers that can say, when are you going to form a nation for our children? I must say, in fairness to the present government administration, they have been women-friendly because we have in numbers, in statistics, so many things going for women. But the impact is not there yet. Well, we want more, and we want more impact. It's still for the government to do the affirmative action and for women to get ready. Well, viewers, you have heard it all from the Voice of Eve Forum. The way forward is clear. Women, we are for one another, and we must help ourselves. Please join us again next time as we handle another very critical and sensitive subject regarding the state of women in our nation.